Self-worth doesn't come from net worth. I've known many millionaires who live a very poor life because emotionally and spiritually they are miserable and they are unhappy. When we do not recognize our own worth and value, doesn't matter how much money we have, we do not feel wealthy. And this is why I want to share this with you so that you never feel unworthy again, because unworthiness comes from a place of feeling not deserving, feeling not valued. And when we feel not deserving and not valued, we start doing things and attaching our value to things that are outside of us in order to feel worthy within us. But when we recognize that worth comes from how we see ourselves and how we perceive ourselves, the shift, the change happens. And this is why I'm going to share an exercise shortly that is going to reframe and change the way you perceive yourself. If someone is living an identity of being poor, they will feel poor, because feeling poor has nothing to do with how much money you have in your bank account. You could have millions and you can still feel poor. True wealth comes from recognizing our worth. I had a friend who wanted to make a lot of money, so she would constantly chase money. It doesn't matter what happens. She is working hard. She's making sure she's making money, and she makes money. She makes a lot of money, but she would not feel that is enough. So she would keep finding more ways to make more money. And this pattern continues of making more money, but is still not content, is still not satisfied, is still not feeling joyous and happy. And the reason that was happening with her, because she did not feel worthy within herself, within her being. So she felt that she has to fill this gap and this emptiness by having more money. But doesn't matter how much money she had, she still felt not enough and not worthy. So this pattern and loops really come from not feeling enough, and we fill this gap and this emptiness, this vessel, with a lot of external validation, external wealth, and materialistic stuff. We fill that gap, but still, if from within we do not feel worthy, no amount of money, no amount of material belonging going to fill this gap of worthiness. Because when we operate from a feeling of unworthiness and not enoughness and emptiness, we are always chasing a next big goal. 10K, 20K, 100K, 1 million. We are chasing that goal because that goal is never enough, because it wants to fill emptiness that is operating from a place of wound and trauma and pain. And nothing outside can fill that trauma, pain, and emptiness. You could have billions of dollars and you could still feel not enough. And this is what I need you to understand. We have to first fill the gap within, fill that emptiness within, to stop chasing, but start attracting, start being in this energy of wealth and its energy of abundance, its energy of prosperity. And that's when we start attracting instead of chasing. So I'm going to share with you a powerful exercise to change that relationship with yourself that is going to really give you deeper understanding of why you feel unworthy and where is it coming from. So this statement is simple, but it is profound. When you start working through this statement, what I'm going to share with you, you're going to start realizing where and how you are perceiving yourself. So the statement is, people like me do things like this. So I want you to write this down now. People like me do things like this. And as soon as I've said that, you probably realize how you see yourself, because this is a statement of how you perceive and see yourself. People like me do things like this. People like me sacrifice themselves. And I want you to fill that gap. People like me fill in the blank. What do they do? And when you start filling that blank, you will see people like me have to struggle. People like me have to go through a lot of pain. People like me have to work really hard to make money. People like me do not get things easily. And if that is the identity you are operating with, and you can keep going with this statement, and you have to be very honest with yourself when you're going through this statement and recognizing, how do I perceive myself? When I say people like me, what kind of thing people like me do? And when you start honestly writing these statements, you will start seeing the pattern of the identity you are operating with. And every statement you make, I want you to see this is the identity you are operating with. And with that awareness is going to give you a profound shift, because when you recognize the identity you are living with, you can choose to not live that identity. You can choose to shift that identity, because when we become aware of how we are operating on an energetic level, on identity level, because our identity is energetically. And this identity might not be just yours. It might be your generational and ancestry identity, because they operated from that place. So you are operating from that place. This is why people who have a lot of money still feel poor, because even though they might accumulate a lot of money, but their ancestor, their generations operated from a place of being poor, from a place of struggling. So they could have a lot of money in the bank account, but they could still live a life of someone who is extremely poor. And this is why this exercise is profound and powerful for you to do, because you will recognize and see how you are operating, which identity you are embodying. When you become aware of your identity, the way you're operating through these statements that we've just said, you can make the shift instantly by recognizing, okay, I'm going to change how people like me do things. So you can change your identity to your higher self. So how my higher self operates. So my higher self operates as somebody who wakes up at a certain time, who operates and do certain things, who eats avocado in the morning, who goes to gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, consume this type of material, who invest in these type of things. When you start changing the statement to your higher self, you can start operating from that higher self. And this is why this exercise is so profound, because right now you can pause the video and write down all the things you're operating with, and you can make the shift with how you want yourself to operate in alignment with your higher self. And that shift is going to change your worth, because you can start embodying and incorporating in your life those things that are operated by your ideal, your true version, your authentic version, your soul self, your higher self. And when we do that, we shift our worth, our value, because how we operate daily really shows how worthy we feel. It is important. We are not changing the bigger things, but we are changing the minor things, the smaller things, how we wake up, how we dress up, how we eat, what we do. Every single thing we do defines our worth, defines our value. And how we do anything is how we do everything. So in order to change your worth, you have to do this exercise, answer these honestly, recognize and write it down how your higher self operates, and then incorporate these minor habits to really feel worthy in every single moment. So let me know in the comments below how you operate as your higher self. When you write that down, you embody that version. You make it clear to the universe, to your higher self, this is how I am going to operate going forward. But it is very important for you to first do the exercise of people like me do things like this and answer those honestly first before you get into the higher self. And then I want you to write those statements in the comments below so that we can really affirm those things in your body, in your identity, to make it real for you. With that, you are going to start recognizing your worth, your value, and you might start feeling emotional because you would recognize how you have been operating in your life. So if you would like me to help you change the story and the pattern and the beliefs and release these inner wounds that are blocking the abundance and blocking the prosperity that you truly deserve to have the financial freedom, then do click a link below to apply for my coaching. Other than that, like this video if you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and may the light in me reaches the light in you.